Yeah. I know, not another video episode is what it is. We're getting new stuff around here, so it's taking a little bit longer than I would like. Writing solo today. Um, hmm, um, Gave John the week off. He went to go see Black Widow. He started his first job, this week. So I figure why not reward that? He's worked hard all week. He doesn't need to be doing this, silly stuff. He's got to start having his own life, his own money, man. Which I think he's gonna be all right. I think he's really smart. Not just smart, just like, that level of intelligence where someone could figure out how things work. Like they're not just, book smart, but they're like mechanical smart. Like he's got that. It's really interesting. I don't have that. I can't really dissect something and like really tell you how it works. I don't know if I can do that. I think I can understand why something works. I don't know if I can necessarily, break it down in the proper terms, I guess. Or we want to when I look at movies, it's all feelings, themes. That's where I'm at. Like I can't tell you why a particular shot works. With this lens or this camera. I think that's something else entirely. The different kind of intelligence I just don't have. Yeah, so he's doing his thing, man. Good for him. He's getting out there. 16 years old. He's going to have money in his pocket. But when you're 16 and you're getting money, you feel like you own the world. Because, before you had to ask your mom, for money and stuff. When you start making your own little money, it feels great. When I was in high school, I sold a comedy album. I had done a bunch of parody songs. 10-track album. It's somewhere in my computer. I'll probably play it one day. But I was selling them $3 a pop. I sold like 300 copies. It was dope. I had a whole little operation going. I was using my my aunt's computer. She's younger than me. She's like 20 something now. I'm like 33. So yeah, she's younger than me. She's kind of more like a little sister. So I was using her computer to make the CDs, so I would split the profits with her. I would buy the CD, actual CD cases and stuff like that, actual blank CDs, and use the computer to burn them, and we would just split the profits. We had a little scheme going on. Nice little record label. But when you're making that kind of money, you feel like you have value. You feel like you have a ticket to the rest of the world. Nothing can really hold you back. You got the money for it. So much of youth is just not having access or resources of our own. But when you get to that age where you got money in your pocket and you can do whatever you want, it's pretty nice. It's a sweet feeling. So he's going to have that now, which is cool. Real good. I think it builds character. You see that hard work actually, it pays. I'm not saying here as super pro capitalist and shit, but I do believe, it is. Do we have better wages than the rest of the world in some cases? Yeah. But just any kind of reward really for hard work for me is just like, you start to get a sense of how the world works and its trade-offs. We always talk about trade-offs on here. Big theme. Pivots. Because, this week I've been thinking a lot about pivots. Because I've been thinking about, how old I am and the things I thought I'd be doing at this age. And just realizing that they're just, my entire life I have been always boxed into making a pivot on so many things that I think I've gotten to a point where I can't pivot anymore. You know, like I have no more pivots. And you get stuck, and you start to wonder, like, when do I get another opening to make something I want happen? And you find little pockets of it. It's like climbing those the rock climbing mountains. You know what I mean? Like, one stone at a time, one leg at a time. You start making it, further up. Opportunity shows itself. You get to the mountain higher sometimes. You get into a good rhythm. But right now, I just feel like I don't have enough space to make a pivot in a lot of things. And that's acceptance, really. You have to accept that some things are just beyond your control. That you're just you. And you're doing the best you can. That's all you can do. Try to get better where you can, but it's not always easy. But yeah. It's been a wild week, man. That Haitian president thing was fucking crazy. And my natural skepticism felt that there was an American presence in it, and there were. There were 2 Haitian Americans, and I guess about a half dozen ex-Colombian army soldiers, like fucking the elite dudes. And all I could think about was just Narcos, really. I was like, oh, this is the next season of Narcos now. There's going to be this whole Haitian connection thing. And we're going to explore that for a few years. I was wondering who would get casted in that. I would love to be on that show. The Haitian connection. Be so good. But it's completely nuts, because already this guy was really holding on to that spot a year longer than he should. And the people were fighting him on it. This dude had done everything. He had, killed all the elections. Took out most of the seats in the cabinet. He had pretty much locked himself in for a while. Nonetheless, there was a winner who was going to be, I believe, sworn in next week. Yeah, I believe next week. And then, here we are. This dude now gets murked. And, when you think about all the other countries that America has done black ops in, it wouldn't surprise me if this was one of them. I can see it. It's not, that hard to conceive. But I wonder what's the end game on it. Like, at this point, something's got to give for Haiti, doesn't it? Because they were freaking paying off a 100-year debt to France. Like, France got really gully with the fucking Haitians, right? But they didn't have that same energy for Hitler, and we bailed their ass out. France never keeps the same energy. Fuck France. Sorry to our French listeners. I'm just gonna say that the French Grand Prix is not necessarily my favorite Grand Prix, because here's the problem with it. That goddamn track is just too damn colorful. With those blue and red grip stripes. I get it. It's good technology to keep cars from hitting the wall, but it's just, the colors are just insane. Just too much. But it's still a nice track to drive, though, in the video game. New F1 game's coming out. I'm hyped for that, baby. Shit's gonna be fire. If you haven't gotten into F1 yet, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's still the greatest sport I've ever watched in my life. They're on a 2-week break now. Now I'm miserable. I got nothing to watch. I could start watching soccer, but I feel like that'd be disingenuous coming into it now. Coming into a championship. Well, of course you're coming for the championship. Now you can find out what team you can root for. I'm like, no. I just need a sport right now. I'm all out of sports. All out of sports. It has been about, what? A week that Bill Cosby has been free. And not one comedy club has booked him yet. I'm impressed. I really am. They're really holding back there. Maybe I'll adjust my prediction. I won't say September, but just in time for Christmas, Bill Cosby will be performing at a theater near you. He's going to be going for it. He's got all this material now. He's a Batman villain. He's the Joker. He's got to do it. He can't stop himself. He's going to be he's going to be able to see again magically. You go, look at me. I have my visions back. Well, I told you. The Kodak films. Oh, man. Louis C.K. came back, but I guess it's different. I mean, that's just masturbating. But I mean, that's just like, I don't know. That's a gray area. But he's back. Maybe people do forgive it eventually. I don't know if I can forgive Cosby. That was 60 women. Like, goddamn. Like, that's what makes me wonder if there is this, like, sick Illuminati cult out there where it's like they're all part of it and all trying to rank up the highest numbers. Because there's no reason to do that much. There's no reason to do it at all. But Jesus Christ. Like, that's evil on a level I just can't even understand. And all like hiding behind this cuddly figure. That's scary. Who would be a surprise to me if they came out as one of those predators? That Corbell dude that's on the fat dude. It is like was it Carpool Karaoke? Yeah, him. I really feel like he's a genuinely good guy. But if I found out something, I think I'd be a little surprised. But I don't know. There's something in those eyes. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's the way he laughs. That's the thing. Like, if people laugh a certain way, I assume horrible things about them. Because they look like goblins. And you know, people who look like goblins, they couldn't possibly have good hearts. We learned that from Disney movies, you know? Like, you always knew who the villain was. It was either one of the most beautiful people on screen or one of the ugliest. There was no in between. And I think that's why they need to go back and redesign some of these characters for the average looking people like myself. You know, I'm probably going to have an average looking kid, you know what I mean? With my genetics, so they'll need to see themselves on screen so they can feel represented. Average rights. Average representation. I'm an idiot. But I'm mildly interested in Space Jam. Someone saw it already and told me I don't play the Space Jam theme song, and I'm not happy about it. Because the Space Jam theme song was good. It was amazing. It was, man, I can't play it. Copyrights, you know what I mean? Like, That if there was ever a perfect marriage of song and movie, it was that one. Like the Quad City DJs delivered so well. And I think everything about that original Space Jam press run was so much cooler. The posters were so much cooler. You know what I mean? They had weight to them. Like seeing Jordan's face and seeing Bugs Bunny's face on that poster where they're just kind of backlit, it felt like this was a mega fucking event. Like this is unfucking heard of. This was Avengers before Avengers, my guy. Like you gotta understand. It was IP marriaging at the highest level. It was cross, so like what the fuck? The Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan? Man, with those two brands you couldn't miss. You really couldn't miss. And that movie inspired so much cheap ass hood designed shirts for like the next 15 years of, you know, Bugs Bunny looking like a drug dealer with a gun and shit. You know what I mean? Like that, oh, those knockoff shirts were fucking amazing. And it's all because of Space Jam. Space Jam, it brought the Looney Tunes back. You know, it made them like prominent, you know, characters again in like this, like the 90s kids generation. Oh, so, and then, man, so good. People, you know, always give Jordan shit for his acting in that movie. I thought he did all right. I feel like people just, you know, give him a lot of shit. And Bill Murray's in that movie too. Man, they were marrying so much of that era into one movie. They chose the right basketball players too. All beloved legends. That's the one with this new Space Jam. I like the idea they're going like, you know, technically it's the game within HBO Max basically. It's the battle for HBO Max. That's what it is. And it's gonna have all like the Warner IP and that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? But man, it just doesn't have any weight, it feels like. Like, I don't know if this generation really gives a shit. Had it been LeBron James in a Fortnite movie? Oh, no, man. That would have had way more heat. That has way more heat than Space Jam, in my opinion. Way more heat. What a missed opportunity. But that's the thing. Space Jam is a known entity, so you want to revive it, try to remix it, but it doesn't have the same sauce. It doesn't have the same sauce. But I am mildly interested in a sense of like, how are you going to pull this off? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's great. Maybe it turns out to be an amazing sequel to a legacy brand, but I don't know. Not 100% sold. LeBron James, though, is a better actor than Jordan. I can give him that. So he's probably going to do that part better. What would be really cool if someone could like edit LeBron James into the original Space Jam, see if it ups the acting quality. Because there's such generic dialogue in that first one. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of generic dialogue in this one. Should be easy to intercut. But it should be interesting. Man, LeBron James in a Fortnite movie would have done it. Here I am just giving away movie ideas to Hollywood. Don't ever pay me for these ideas. I remember when Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter came out, I came up with 2 other ideas. I was just like, all right, they did that. That's totally cool. But I want to watch like George Washington Werewolf by Night. You know what I mean? Like during the entire revolution, they had to plan their attacks based on the moon. So they could get George at his most feral and his most powerful. And once the full moon hit, he'd run in to the enemy territory, killed most of them. By morning, the battles were already over. And he had already taken his kills. You know what I mean? His eats, his meats. He had already gotten rid of who he had to get rid of. And he was fed and he was fed and no longer hungry. But yeah. Then there was fucking, what was it? There was one before this next one I'm gonna say, but it was another American figure. Yeah, I don't remember the other one, but one I do remember for sure is I wanted to do one Harriet Tubman Vigilante, and it was what it was supposed to, it ended up becoming Unwanted Dead or Alive Harriet Tubman in my mind. So the idea of it was I had read this story once about how she had a husband and they got separated when she escaped, and she went back to go get him. And she when she arrived, she found out he had already remarried with someone else, and like it broke her heart and stuff like that. But she wished him well. You know what I mean? That's a story I heard. Maybe it's a legend, but I always was really fascinated by that story. I was like, that's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, like that's like a dope ass revenge movie kind. Well, or could be if you were to turn it. You know what I mean? Like the idea if she goes back to get her husband, but instead he's killed by like this Confederate, agent who's looking for Harriet Tubman. You know what I mean? So in this kind of universe, it would be like, well, no, it's probably what's happening in the Confederacy where they had these like guys who would track down certain slaves, particularly Harriet Tubman. And the idea is they killed her husband to try to get closer to her. And now she's going to go find the agent that killed her husband, and she's going to take him out. But this was all like somehow collide with, John Brown's Harper's Ferry Raid. It was going to be that. Like somehow we were going to get into that a little bit, and she was supposed to be there, but she wasn't there because she was on this other mission she was going on to go kill this dude. So she kind of like, has to choose between the revolution and or what became known as the massacre of Harper's Ferry. So she has to choose between going on to that mission or going and handle this personal business. She chooses the personal business. And I really just thought it'd be kind of a cool fucking, exploitation, revenge movie. Maybe I'll do it someday. I don't know. But I copyright Rafael Martinez. But it's that, that's the thing about Hollywood that I miss is just the intersection of really interesting ideas that shouldn't work, but they do. Because you're just going in there with earnestness of, no, we know what this movie is, and you know what this movie is. So let's just enjoy what this movie is. I miss that. Like, Speed is ridiculous. Agua. Speed, it shouldn't work as a movie, but it does. It does on so many levels. And it could go wrong at any time, but it's like they thought it out so well. Like, if we're going to commit to this bus, we got to commit to this bus, And I'll be honest with you. Listen, maybe I'm putting too much on this movie, but it's a very Hitchcockian movie, I feel like that's a movie Hitchcock would have made. Just saying, if he was born at a certain time, I feel like that would have been his jam. I'm throwing it out there. I don't care who agrees or disagrees. I know what I'm talking about. But it's just such a good movie. And I miss those kind of movies from Hollywood. Not that I think there's not good stuff coming out now. It really depends on what you're looking for. But there's a reason why Guy Ritchie movies are always at least decent. Because we all long for that kind of movie where the rules kind of don't matter. And everything's hyper reality. Because that can be fun. Like I watched The Gentleman the other day for the second time. Matthew McConaughey is great in it. And he's a pot dealer. And he's got all these amazing, weed dispensary operate. Well, not dispensaries. Like he's doing it illegally, so it's grow ops. So he's got a bunch of grow ops, and they're all like on this government land that is owned by like royal family members and shit. So no one knows what's really going on. Well, they do, but it's like everyone's winking. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, but they fucking know, making money. But like, it's so ridiculous on its face that no, it's kind of fucking cool. You go, oh, now I'm in a different world where this kind of thing exists. Now I can have fun. And I get it, everyone wants to like get a sense of realism, but I don't know if realism is really helping right now, because things are really real right now everywhere. Politically, socially, on the internet, for Christ's sakes. People are just making it more and more real. That's fucking fun. But yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week. I often think maybe this is how it ends for me. Like 80 years old, in a bunker somewhere, broadcasting the apocalypse, reporting on the latest news of the Normie Mutant War of 2046. I don't think I'll be 80 in 2046. I'll be close to it. Maybe, who knows? Who knows how old I'll be? I don't even want to figure it out. I just know I'm going to be old as fuck. Just sitting there. What's the weather like? Apocalyptic. Let's play that new 10-second jam by Little Box to the Fourth Power Squared. What a track. What a track. We don't need songs longer than that anymore. We're too busy trying to survive the apocalypse. Scientists say that we're closer to a nuclear war than we've ever been. I find that hard to believe. I'm sure there was like way closer times than now. But I can see it though. I can see it. On July 4th, I watched a documentary on Hiroshima. I watched one on Pearl Harbor and one on Hiroshima. Cause it's like, to me, those two moments. Well, of course they're married together, but they kind of give you a sense of what America is. This idealistic, beautiful place of shining glory that just gets fucked with, and we gotta defend ourselves, and we go and fight in the Pacific. Then we're, in our minds, mercy killers, so we could end the war, dropping not one but 2 nuclear bombs. And it shows like what we're willing to do to get something done. The darkest part of America. It felt appropriate to watch on July 4th. July 4th was cool, man. I got some really good skating in. Really good skating in. Losing this weight, man. I'm at 229. Holla at me, dog. 9 more pounds. I'm at goal weight for like my doctor, but I'm gonna keep going. I want to be 200 by the time I go back there, but that's probably gonna be impossible. I'll probably get to like 215, 210, but I've been doing a lot of walking and skating. I've thought about recording the walks, like a stream of consciousness kind of thing. I thought about it. We'll see. Maybe that'll be some extra content one day. Going on walks with me and shit. No, during my walks, I just think about, not just stuff to talk about on here, but just everything. To me, like, walking really started because I didn't have a lot of money to go places when I was a kid, so I just walked places. I'd walk from my house in Bushwick to 14th Street Union Square. It took a bit, but once you do it the first time, you start to develop a taste for it. You like the achievement you have after it. Like there's a certain, I don't want to necessarily say high, but it's a certain tire that just feels good. You're like, oh, this is a nice tire. You can go to sleep and really get some good REM. But yeah, walking is just it's been so good for me. I've been able just to, have just a moment of quiet. And I've been walking around a lot of places in Brooklyn now that I haven't been to in years. And I'm seeing how they've changed and they're almost foreign to me. Like Greenpoint is foreign to me in a lot of ways. Williamsburg is super foreign now. I almost don't even like walking over there for how it feels. But Greenpoint feels super different. But in a kind of different that I like. But it's so expensive to live there. You gotta find an adjacent neighborhood. Jump in before that one gets taken over. Be the one Puerto Rican they like so they keep you. But yeah, I'm just going on walks. It's honestly one of the best exercises you can do. And if you're heavier, it's even better because you're going to lose more faster. Honestly, I walk from Ridgewood to Greenpoint, so that's 6 miles. So I'm doing that almost nightly. It's a lot to commit to. It's a 2-hour walk. But I always take a train back home. Very few nights I'll do the back and forth. That's not just being a pain in the ass to yourself, You're just hurting your feet for no reason. But no. Walks. Wherever you can walk. Wherever you live, listener. Walk. And you can have music or podcasts like this one. Or recently I did it without anything and just with the sounds of the street in my own mind. That was a good one. I really got to get blank there for a little bit. It was really nice. But go for some walks. Everyone can do it if you have both your legs. Now, if you don't, it's going to be a little harder. I don't know if I have a suggestion for that, to be honest with you. Yeah, I've got nothing for that. I'm not that smart. If you're in a wheelchair, you know what to do, man. Get a motor on that and drive around, cruise. Pick up some honeys. You got a hot rod, man. But yeah. It's been a week. But I think I know how this week's going to end.